Yeah, it's double initiator versus double initiator. We're back in 2023. Let's go. I love it. Yeah, it's going to be Bonnie the Duelist. I think that pretty much answers it. Paint's going to be leaning into the flex role. I feel like it's honestly it could be a really good role for Paint. We've seen what he's done on the Duelist, but we've also seen how vocal he is on a team environment, even on the Duelist role. So I feel like in the flex role, he's gonna allow himself to shine. He's gonna be able to play make as well as have that self-sufficiency. Again, I'm looking at Team Evictix to see how they leverage the double drones to make the macro much easier for themselves. They have a ton of utility to work with, so keep eyes on that utility backhauls when the B execs on the retakes. They're gonna have a ton of util to work with to push people off angles and make sure they put themselves in good positions.
Yeah, they're also going to have, on both sides, a lot of util to kind of do that push-pull like you were saying. I was really expecting maybe a chamber or a jet or just something, but with this Yoru and no chamber comp, it is going to be a lot of that push and pull. We're not going to see a whole lot of like fast rushes, in my opinion. They're definitely going to be doing a lot of splits because they just don't have that movement agent.
Ooh, it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out, and I cannot wait to see both of their debuts with these respective teams within Challengers. It's time to get to it on Pearl and send it to your casters. It's going to be Jaws and Marks to get you started.
Thank you very much, Sierra. Yes, M80's big return to VCL versus Team Evictix. Now, they already kind of set this one up, Marks, and M80 with a ton of experience and skill across the board versus a team that has been together for a long time. Big ranked grinders, big ladder grinders as well, whereas M80, they're going to rely more on that experience over the time they've had together.
It really is so interesting, right? Because obviously when you look at tier 2, you look at a team like Envy, which kind of had a more interesting start. You know, the bunch of guys grinding it out in ranked somehow were able to take everything over, and once they kind of got that system, they get put into place and everything seems good. But for Team Evictix, while it kind of follows that initial similar pathing, like the Dusk was saying, this team likes to be a little bit more careful, a little bit more calculated when it comes down to it. I love the way that they set things up, given the fact that Evictix are going to be more or less relying off of each other just against the pure raw experience that so many of these M80 players are bringing. This is not their first round in Challengers, and once again on this new roster, they are more than willing to try and prove it.
Quick rotation through Art already for M80. Really fast in the rotation. You saw an early orb push as well from Invictus. They managed to pick that one up, but Teo might be a little bit caught off here as the split ends up coming through.
Just nice and quiet, but Raccoon's position right now could be everything. I like the group up though from M80. They're going to try and push this one together, and they're more or less ready to go. Raccoon spots it out.
Yeah, full stack in here basically, going through Art. Nice flash there into Secret. See one player going through main there. It's GMD, smoked off currently, but a quick pop through should be fairly easy. Two players backside still with the first blood going Raccoon's way, but quickly traded by Paint.
You're done.
Finally,
Like going
down.
down.
To go down here.
Cutting through.
Hey, it was a 4-on-2 now with Tarek and Alvin alive.
Yeah.
Last player standing.
Tarek with a nice little swing. One person now, Alvin, just left alive. Unlikely to make it out. As Scotty ends up picking up the kill, and that is a round on the board for Invictix.
And once again, we go back to that familiarity, right? Like you can see the M80 players, despite the fact that they had everyone kind of set up and ready to push onto that A site, there was just like moment of hesitation there. And I think that once again, that's kind of that synergy that needs to really be worked on for M80 if they want to initiate on that site. Meanwhile, Evictix, I mean, once again, Scotty doing an excellent job at just kind of, or sorry, no, it was Raccoon who's doing an excellent job of staying alive through the mountains of util that were just kind of being dumped in the back there, and able to really just buy enough time for the rest of Evictix to get themselves ready for the denial there. So M80 just kind of staggering a little bit right before the finish line, and it kind of makes things fall apart for them. Let's see how they want to go out onto this round. Evictix have all the nice weaponries and a lot of information actually just gained right off the rip, as they will be picking up that first orb and really just taking their time as Barrett just has the utility ready to go just in case they need to pop that.
So they're kind of expecting it. Very far forward right now is Raccoon on the Sova.
Launching missile.
They're going to make their play as Barry's right on the other side of this. He's going to pop the salvos down. Pain going super low. In fact, actually taken down by the salvo. Spike planted, however. Rotation through the library as Bonnie picks up two. How on earth do you do that? 2 with the classic, just like that. Traded on site right now. A 3-on-3. Alvin 1 HP though, but it is going to be up to M80 to try and push their way back on. Little fake defuse there, but Alvin, yeah, there's just no shot. You just have to look for the trade. 1 HP though, but Evictix dominating M80 there. A quick plant, a salvo kill on the planter, but they couldn't trade up.
And all things considered, that time around, we see a lot of that kind of like push in together mentality working out for M80 that time around. Given the fact that they were working with that weaker weaponry, immediately the rotation coming towards Art. Sure, we got to see Bonnie really light up the kill feed, but it was almost like a 3-pronged attack to try and isolate and destroy the members of Evictix. And sure, they do win out that round, but they do so at the expense of 3 of their weapons. So we're going to be seeing that Bulldog as well as a judge come in for Raccoon. Well, meanwhile, on the other side, M80, they're going to be on to their buy round. So this is where things get serious. Given the fact that they've already just kind of dropped the spike right off the bat, I imagine we're going to be seeing a little bit more of a play for information and try to absorb a lot of that initial utility to try and isolate those members of Evictix before ending on one of these sites.
Slowly but surely. He wants it. He really wants this. Just kill.
Not like this.
GMD. Not like that. Straight to the face. Little drone out as well, potentially. Speaking of drones, one in mid. Didn't quite spot Alvin. They know the turret's there, so Alvin in close proximity. They did manage to retrieve that weapon as well.
Yeah. On top of that, they were able to push outside of A, and so they got all the information that none of the members of M80 were really looking for it. Alvin did have the alarm bot down there, at least to know that no one's poking out of there, but this more or less should confirm that it will be M80 hitting this B site. Let's see what Scotty and Traded can do.
Drone in, clone down. Bonnie now backside already. Scotty, bullet to the brain, takes one, and unfortunately is going to fall, which means the site pretty open for M80 now. 4 players surrounding it, only one way for Evictix to come back into this. Clone comes in, there's only 1 flash now available for Traded. They spot the clone out, 2 low, 1 high. Raccoon pinged out. And this could be a fairly easy, a trivial swing. Even a molly available for Alvin too. That diffuse ends up coming in. But I'm not sure they're even going to allow them to touch the spike. As Bonnie takes down 2. And unfortunately, that judge not quite having the range to deal with these rifles.
Yeah, Raccoon able to kind of dip back and pick up another rifle here, at least just try to make a good go of it. But M80 just paying so much respect at this point, making sure they can keep as many people alive as possible, and that is going to be the spike. So a good round from M80 that time, and really I think that last round really demonstrates the difference in the initiators that are kind of being brought out here. The Tejo on the side of Evictix up against the KO coming through from M80. When it comes down to it, we're going to be seeing M80 do a lot more of these flash execs because they've got so many flashes in their pockets between the Yoru and the KO, and you can see that M80, they're looking for their timing to pop those flashes and then push out. Meanwhile, on the other side of Evictix, Barrett's been doing a really good job with the missiles. Obviously, just kind of using them to deny space, able to find paint a couple of rounds. But really, it's not going to do well if they want to try and take those fights. So Evictix, they're going to try and burn them down with their utility to force good engagements. Well, as M80, they're going to be a lot more proactive to try and find those kills.
Drones try and push people off the line. Traded with a nice trade. Bonnie for Dre. Doesn't get spotted out either. However, he's going to be able to maintain his dominance on this B site. And then look at that, straight away, M80 now. Need to know where to go. And, well, B's taken by an op. So A, looking rather free. And we can see on the minimap, only 1 player right now, Barrett, just kind of holding it down.
Yeah, and there go the missiles. So they're at least able to get the salvos out of Tejo's pocket. And Paint now going to be able to move in here. But it should be a nice and clean plant, as actually Paint, former duelist, taking so much of that space, confirms the site here, as a spike should go down 4v4 in this retake, but keep an eye on the Killjoys as they're still hanging out in mid, watching for each other.
In the alarm bot there, close to that cut, and we see Paint just push all the way up, and yeah, had to kind of dodge out of the way, but unfortunately takes a bullet to the brain. GMD with 1, so they end up trading, and their hit comes Hunter's Fury. A little bit of damage, but now is the time to strike. Scotty lying in wait, waiting for the other Killjoy to pounce. GMD on his 3rd. Scotty in a 1v2. That is the recon, and Scotty, unfortunately, my friend, it's going to be an almost impossible round to win unless you can pull off a miracle. Oh, Derek I mean, the experience is just too much of a gap here. It feels like no shot you losing that there. And M80 clinched another round win.
An excellent little just rotation coming through from GMD to just take that timing. I was actually going to compliment Evictix on that one. You know, it felt like they were doing such a good job at navigating, worming their way around that site, catching the members of M80 looking the wrong way. And actually, it was just GMD pushing all the way back into the spawn, able to cut off the head of the Hydra before it kind of springs too much. And that makes it a near impossible solution for Evictix to try and get that defuse off. So an excellent round for M80. Bonnie going to come into this one with the Outlaw, understands that the buy of Evictix has to be low, so this is still going to be a pretty quick one-shot, one-kill, but a lot of utility as Evictix really want to take the fight here for this orb.
And they've been doing it for quite a few rounds in a row now. Oh dear. Well, they end up trading too. Paint clearing up the aggressive A main push. Probably going to hold that line for a little bit longer there, making sure the gun doesn't go over. But quick as you like, M80 are now pushing in to B, and we can see no one on the site. Paint slowly making his way back. Dre hoping to get this kill here. They know obviously the KO hasn't joined the rest of the team just yet, but they're just going to miss each other by the looks of it.
And so suddenly
Oops,
this pushback might be a little bit more uncomfortable. Ships passing it a night back to back right now, but yeah, Paint able to find that one. And at this point for Evictix, it's probably not looking good. Bringing in two weapons here, just a Sheriff and an Outlaw, but M80 once again paying a lot of respects to their opponents. And yeah, look at the position of Paint. This one should be pretty much over.
Yeah, look at the util as well, actually on the spike itself. An enviable position. Well, not really. GM takes the 2, and that's the round.
Yeah, somehow in the midst of all that chaos, I guess the two of them just kind of lined up, allowing GMD to find that double kill. Nice, clean, and easy, but once again, just another great round from M80, doing a great job of kind of absorbing that initial pressure being pushed outside of A. And then immediately we kind of see Paint fall into a lurker role, which is not necessarily where you expect to see your KO. But given all of the free space that was afforded onto B and the fact that they're able to move in there without giving up any of the sound cues either, pretty much just guaranteed that it was going to be a free push for M80. Now, Evictix, they've got weaponry in their hands. I'm looking at Raccoon with the Odin in hand, but traded still with this very similar patented aggression outside, but actually gets the spray through and takes GMD down. So there go the smokes for M80.
Enemy tag.
Oh, you're all probably the ult, look. Uh-oh. Yeah, okay, spotting out. Don't want to exactly run into that one, but the Yoru ult is going to at least force them back to Flowers. Raccoon on a nice angle, but it's going to be Derek that's going to be really matching him first. But, I mean, this is going to be a tough spot to play into now. Util completely denied away with that KO ult. Flash into back sights. Well, Paint does end up falling down, but a quick revive by Alvin and traded out almost instantly with a double shot there from Scotty through from Flowers. Beautiful stuff. Turned on his head completely there. M80 looked like they were in full control, but swung back in the other direction almost instantly.
M80 subscribing to the ape strong together mentality, except in Valorant, that's not necessarily a good thing because bullets will go through your friends' bodies, unfortunately. And it just came down exactly like you said. M80, they should have had that round, and yet it just came down to a crossfire being set up with the bullets going through the bodies and no one from M80 being able to secure the kills, allowing Evictix to just walk away with that round more or less for free, even after dumping 2 ultimates in. And so we see M80, they're going to be taking their time out now because, you know, that's not how they expected that round to go. And meanwhile, on the other side, we're seeing Evictix get a couple of ultimates on their side online. I'm looking at Barrett as well coming in with the Tejo ult. That Armageddon does a great job at kind of flushing forwards a lot of the players, allowing really just kind of forcing that reposition, which Tejo is really good at doing right now. And honestly, M80, given the fact that they love to play so grouped up together, if this is very well placed, could force a very early push up, allowing Evictix to find some free kills. So curious to hear what they were talking about on that one, but let's see how this next round plays up as it's still going to be rifles bought up across the board.
Yeah, lining up on the site would be a good start, that's for sure. Raccoon as well, 1 away from the Hunter's Fury, so probably going to try and make another play out of A main. It's like, just tentatively so.
Very quiet, but right now it's just a poke and prod of information, and now the engagement comes in. Dre already down.
Yeah, Bonnie with a nice early kill. Sends the decoy straight towards water. Looks like a rotation here, actually, really early from Evictix. Here comes the wall. Uh-oh, Scotty, fortunately, deafened by this one. It's going to be a push in from Trade. He'll try to make a play there onto the site, but completely alone. Ends up getting picked off as Derek gets the plant.
The plant should be nice and easy, given the fact the Cosmic Divide does cut off all that sound. Also buying M80 plenty of time to get themselves reorganized. Let's see how Evictix want to play this one.
Yeah, 30 HP backside right now is Paint. Isn't going to fall prey to anybody without sending a few shots back, that's for sure. Scotty with the leap down. Now, two-man push. Back sights. Paint already there. Easily taken down. However, you still got to stand up against Derek. Though still, they're actually able to take him out. And now Hunter's Fury to try and clear this main. Scotty's up on that high ground there. And a double kill from Raccoon with the ult. GMT and Body end up going down. Now, Scotty, Raccoon versus Alvin. What a heroic play. A double. With the Hunter's Fury down main like that, I mean, that is absurd. Evictix with some heroics on B.
Weapon is only a
Okay, yeah, that happened there. I thought the setup for M80 should have been able to work out in their favor.
But surely they didn't line up. Surely they didn't line up. Surely not.
They're both hopping around, you know? Like, surely they hop in different directions. And I was just gonna say, like,
absurd.
Alvin finally making his way through. Perfect timing, and somehow they both hop into a straight line.
Tragic.
Right into Raccoon's ultimate. It all falls apart. Alvin suddenly has to deal with the entire world up against him. Not how you want to make this round play out here, but M80 this time swapping it up. And Evictix this time not actually taking that aggression there. So you see M80, they go for that pounce, trying to get the Yoru very early on. And there's nobody home except for Raccoon. Watching so far away, and it's the spray down with the Odin. Not like this.
Through the wall. Happy as you like. I mean, insult to injury for M80 there. Have to lick their wounds before they end up re-entering the site. They haven't moved an inch. And another one as well through the smoke. Oh dear. You call this the mental buster. These last couple of rounds for M80. Not sure how much experience you require to shrug that one off, but right now M80 going to try and make a rotation, maybe to B, or maybe even at this point, going for a save, Marks.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that it might be a save at this point. I mean, I was going to say as well, like Derek and Alvin, they've got their ultimates online. Sure, maybe Derek could pull off some heroics like Raccoon and find a couple of cool kills or something, but fortunately not alive in this round. And this time around, it just comes down to the awareness coming through from Raccoon. Left. Able to just find 2 free kills, more or less, through the smokes there. And all of the protocols that M80 are doing right now, they just don't have a good read on how this Evictix defense is playing. They thought that they had an opportunity to kind of take the initiative into their own hands, but they're immediately just taken down by a spray of an Odin. So a little bit of a tilter round here, but will be Evictix getting up to 5 as right now they're kind of running away with how this has been going after these last couple of rounds.
Yeah, massive confidence booster. Com's probably going crazy right now, gonna be honest. I mean, I would be after getting a double ult kill like that if you're the Sova and then just picking up 2 kills through smoke. You're like, yeah, sure. Another day in the office here for Evictix. Like I mentioned before as well, this team has been playing together for quite a while. Both rank grinders, obviously kind of qualifying here through the closed qualifiers. Ended up losing actually to the other closed qualified team. But they're going up against an M80, a return of M80 with Nismo as the coach. So you imagine that timeout. Curious if they're going to call another one if one of these preceding rounds is going to go as awry as the last couple have.
Once again, like you talk about the confidence building of Evictix, and especially considering this is their pretty much debut match. Sure, they did play through those qualifiers, but to go on the stage up against M80, once again, we've just been talking about the length of experience so many of these players are bringing into the table. You know, that's got to feel good. And honestly, it's just Evictix kind of playing their game, building that confidence. Scotty, aware that something is kind of going on here, but M80, they have to make their attack, and it looks like they're slowly creeping towards B.
Well, they're going to try and make their way in. Paint taking a little bit of damage from his own nade there, but there you go. There's a kill on the other side. Derek ends up killing Traded with his Hunter's Fury. Plant coming in for Paint.
You should run.
And here comes the lockdown. You got to run. Defenders one, attackers one. Activated almost at the same time there. You can see the bisection of the point, but the Teo is going to put Paint in a bit of an awkward spot. In fact, it's probably going to get detained. Attacker Killjoy is going to get erased, though, as Raccoon picks up another kill with the Odin. 2-3 players now in this long B long spot. But can they actually stand up against this Odin is the question. Well, it doesn't matter. It ends up getting taken down despite its fierce presence on the map so far in a 2-on-2. They haven't tapped just yet as those Astra Stars are going to delay this defuse coming in. Barrett ends up getting a little touch there, but a quick kill onto GMD is going to end up sticking it as well, but needs to get off. But no, Barrett with the final shot onto Derek and gets the defuse with time to spare. Evictix with another round.
Wow, and yeah, that was another thing you could use the Armageddon for. Destroying the Killjoy ultimates. Suddenly, I mean, you could tell the protocol for M80, it was so well read. Hey, you know what, Raccoon? Already used the Hunter's Fury. Let's save our lockdown to counter their lockdown so we can make sure that we zone them out. And you see Paint just like, okay, I'm going to hang back a little bit just in case they try and push it. This is pretty standard protocol until the Armageddon comes out and it all just falls to pieces. Paint's position can no longer be sent out to try and escape the zone of it. Suddenly the Evictix players are able to move in completely and it's just people getting caught out of position on the side of M80. An excellent little play from Evictix, an excellent calling and understanding of how to counter some of these ultimates, and suddenly M80, they've got nothing left in their pockets, whereas Evictix, they still have that Cosmic Divide online, and it's still a scattered buy for M80, still not looking great for them.
There's a kind of nice suppressing Dre. Backside. Or pause. I mean, Bonnie ends up picking up Barrett, sure, but you still got to deal with Dre in the sidelines. Paint end up taking the kill.
Away. Okay.
Come on, traded. Ends up going down to Bonnie. Cosmic Divide, unfortunately, now for Evictix. Unable to be used as well, although Scotty with a kill. In fact, like, still is Raccoon with the Odin. He's got to be stopped at some point. Please, someone deal with this Odin. Fight still ticking, though. Scotty's going to be able to get half. Alvin with one. The swing around the corner, and M80. Okay. Signs of life after the last few rounds, which looked pretty dire.
A little bit of an imposter among us situation just on that V site, somehow traded. Yoru just hanging out. No one checks this completely, and quite frankly, very lucky that he missed some of those bullets there because that could have turned nasty really quickly. And Bonnie, as well as Alvin, just kind of clutching it up. Two standout players from VCL last year as well. Bonnie kind of leading the charge on Core, especially when Core was on their kind of instrumental run. Bonnie kind of being the tip of the spear for the squad. And this time around is slowly kind of pulling himself back up into that positioning. Well, Evictix still kind of holding on to a couple of their ultimates here. They do have the Dimensional Drift available as well. As once again, not necessarily the best weapons. Barrett kind of coming in, not with a full rifle in hand, but Raccoon's still going in with the Odin. And honestly, at this point, with how much value Raccoon's been getting from that Odin, you want to make sure that this guy is going to have that big ol' LMG because, you know, a couple of spray through smokes might guarantee the round for you at this rate.
Does M80 even try and test that? Dimensional Drift. Bonnie. Going to be allowed at least to spot out Dre on site. Ends up popping the smoke there. And actually, Bonnie is going to teleport all the way back to A. Big rotation now from Evictix, but I think they've read and maybe this was the wrong site to be on. And here comes the spray. Oh, okay. But M80 just ganging up. Although saying that, well, Barrett's got the Odin now, so let's see if he can do anything a little bit different here. Alvin GMD are pretty low. Salvo isn't coming in. Stop the plant from going down. Nice bot flash as well. Bonnie gets taken down though. Oh, the whiff! Alvin with a double. And now Scotty is going to be able to at least pick up a kill. So danger lurking the left-hand side there. Through mid, gets taken care of. Barrett versus 3. Alvin low. Drone spotting out. Mateo. So and a clean-up kill for M80. Really nicely paced there. Don't want to take any risks. 6-5 now. Last round before the switch.
Oh boy. Okay, a great job from M80, and something that I'm starting to notice on this defense for Evictix is that they're extremely reactive. This is now, I think, the third round that we've seen M80 kind of go for that fake, and Evictix just take it hook, line, and sinker every single time. The full rotation kind of goes in there, which allows M80 to just cleanly walk into the site, put that thing down, and get themselves nice and set up. Sure, Raccoon still kind of posted a threat at the back line with the Odin that time, but M80 this time spraying through the smoke as well, anticipating that position, and take that Odin off the table before it kind of gets too deadly. This time, though, M80 look like they're ready to just completely pounce onto this B site. They will be going up against Dre, who has 1 star put down. But yeah, as soon as the ultimate gets kind of popped here, you know that this is going to be the rest of the squad coming through. And it's a very early Hunter Fury, actually, as Paint gets caught in the midst of it.
Ooh. Almost managed to tag someone else there as well, but the resurrection does end up coming through. Paint back on his feet. Judge in the hands of Raccoon. If he can get backside, that would be perfect, but I'm sure that's going to be really doable at this point. No bomb down just yet. Waiting for the salvos to come through first, I'd imagine.
It's as quiet as ever.
I think faking this.
I think they're trying to make it seem like they're going back to A, and you see Traded at least starting to move all the way back, and finally Barrett's going to go back for that, but the plant will go down now, so then everyone from Evictix is coming back.
Yeah, they didn't stray too far either. It's not like Traded was back all the way on A, kind of in their own spawn in CT. Dimensional Drift coming in now. Hunter's Fury looking to tag a couple, but here comes the Cosmic Divide, and then this is going to be an unfortunate spot trying to push backside. Bonnie with a nice kill though, but quickly traded by Paint. Now in mid, Scotty with the classic, takes down GMD. Thank you so much for the weapon. Diffuse tapped briefly. Derek, 49 HP, tries to double face, but Alvin with the kill on the diffuser. But it's all Judge all day. Barrett with a 2, and that will make it 7 to 5, sorry, on the half.
There is no way that Scotty should have walked away with that kill. Oh my goodness me. With the classic as well. I mean, once again, like you talk about those round changing kills where everything seems like it's going to M80, that was pretty much the turning point. As soon as Scotty walks away with the classic kill, guarantees the weapon, allows Evictix to comfortably move up, knowing that that flanker is kind of taken off the board, and then on top of the Cosmic Divide, allowing, I think it was Barrett with the Judge in hand to be able to just kind of play hopping around, shotguns in hand, left, right, and center. It's a little bit cheesy, but you know what? It still gets the round in your favor. So an excellent job on the defense here coming through from Evictix. And once again, we talked about on the desk how, you know, the Pearl pick, a little bit interesting. We've seen them just win it out every single time in some of these tier 3 tournaments that this team has played on. And the fact that M80 picked Pearl, we were expecting them to come in with a little bit more countering, and yet still, it still feels like some of the learning curves are still being worked on for M80 in this so far.
A bit of chip damage there onto Trey by GMD. Spots 4. Knife, not finding much. Pause for a second here from Evictix. Looks like they want to maybe try and test A, although all that Killjoy setup is going to be kind of a nightmare to deal with.
It's quiet as ever right now. It's trying to get some of that utility out of M80's hands, especially now with all of the new cooldowns that can be just a little bit more impactful, and kind of pushing through is Bonnie flash in hand, waiting to kind of pop that one out just in case any sound is heard.
Missile deployed.
Sure, the drone spotted him. Shocked up on the doors, 27 HP, and trade down to 14.
Oh, I'm out of stars.
Yeah, not a good start. They haven't really made any progress at all, and they've already lost a significant amount of health. There's the flash, and an easy kill for Bonnie. Was holding that flash for what was most of the round at that point. But now a quick push on to B through the smoke. Salvo's trying to kill Paint from backside, but Paint refuses to budge as M80 take the pistol in stride.
A nice easy round, kind of leading into the raw abilities of some of the players of M80. Of course, that time around, we get to see Paint take a little bit of a highlight clip there, just kind of hanging out on that KO, ready to just receive all that pressure that Evictix is kind of coming through. And that fits very comfortably with how his playstyle was, coming from that Shopify Rebellion Black squad, originally playing the Duelist. We saw Paint just kind of take the solo 1vx's consistently. And while it didn't really play out all of the time on that Shopify roster, now moving on to the Initiator has a bit more utility to kind of back some of that stuff up. And we'll continue to kind of play those off positions, but so much information gained right off the rip. And you see immediately, yeah, M80, you kind of back off a little bit, set up some of that util. Not sure whether or not the push is going to come through now, but they're holding this crossfire ready for it to go.
Go free orb, send the drone in first. Nade on top of the smoke. No flood coming through, but here it is. Evictix jump around the corner. Oh, that's a crossfire and a half. My word. And Scotty against the world now.
Must feel pretty nice for Derek there, just kind of hopping out, and yeah, my submachine gun shoots a lot faster than your pistols. Makes it nice and clean. Alvin as well finds Scotty there, so relatively speaking, a much greater second round for M80, and once again, just off of that initial information gained off of paint, they immediately just kind of dig their heels into the ground a little bit, set up that crossfire, get it ready to go, and yeah, the pop flash makes it so easy between Derek and GMD to secure all of those kills. So goodbye, Evictix. We're gonna just try this one again. This time you're gonna have those rifles, and let's see if they've got anything new kind of cooked up for us now that they're really going to go for their main attack round.
Looks like there might be a fast push here for M80 out of A. So they want to try and challenge this. Alvin, though, looking up the long, and that's a free kill for Bonnie. Already rifle down, pop flash through the smoke as M80. Wow, turning up the pace. This is a different gear than we saw on their attack.
Almost like taking the strategy that they saw Evictix do on their defending half, you know, going for that aggressive pressure, but once again, all of those additional flashes make it just a little bit easier for them to lock in and secure those kills. And now Alvin bots out this information on Raccoon, so should know that this is going to be a B-side hit and reinforcements are coming.
Scotty seeing two M80 players backside there. Going to go for the trade. Raccoon at least finds one onto Alvin, but still needs to deal with the other player. Bonnie at least trades. There's Derek to finish off the round. M80 on their bonus. They're going to get some free rifles on board as well as Evictix. Not looking so hot on their own attack. Now down to just pistols.
Yeah, great round from M80. Once again, just with that initial aggression outside of A, they immediately kind of just spring the trap onto Evictix there. And, you know, at this point, it really feels like Evictix feel a little lost as they're just trying to move in. It doesn't necessarily feel like they have a protocol, and we're really just kind of relying on the synergy between some of these players to be able to win things out. So, honestly, just excellent defensive setup for M80. Bringing out a couple of fresh ideas to make sure that they keep Evictix on their toes. And this time around, we get to see M80 now take the lead here as Evictix just on two sheriffs across the board. We've seen some of these players kind of hit some nice headshots, so I wouldn't count Evictix out yet. Let's see what they can kind of do as this KO knife should get quite a bit of information. At least that, nothing's there. Never mind. Shot through, actually. So information completely nullified.
Slowly but surely.
Right here.
Or at least holding A main right now. Got a little bit of information. No aggressive push from M80, like you mentioned. Drone comes out. Sees at least a couple of players there. Would imagine that'll be the rest of them. Erica's going to call for someone to rotate. Another drone coming in. Barrett from another off angle there through A main is going to spot a couple of people with a flash. Is good.
Oh my.
Flash is good for 3, in fact. I mean, with the pistols, it was going to be a tough one, but at least Dre takes one with him. But the money for M80 is looking so good right now. It's going to be a miracle for Dre to get another, but he does anyway. Paint down. Surely they don't lose another one to this Sheriff. Alvin around the corner. There you go. Way too low is the Astra. Barrett trying to get some revenge, but a quick jump spot there. And a drone is going to spot out the last player of Evictix. And a triple stack will end the round.
Something, you know, Nismo's playing coach for M80 when we're seeing some of these flashes just kind of go out from their squad. I mean, Nismo was one of the best flashers when it came into VCL last year, consistently getting maximum value out of it. And it really feels like Paint's gotten a little bit of that coaching to try and enable the flashes so that they can push off of it together. The timings that they take as soon as we see Paint kind of throw the flash drive out has been immaculate. And every single time M80 kind of go for those swings, they're rewarded with a couple of kills there. So that once again is really the key to the puzzle for M80, and Evictix just have to do a little bit better with mitigating some of that flash pressure, because as soon as M80 pop that flash, you know they're going to be charging through. I need to see Evictix set up a couple more traps or play a little bit more counter flash so that they're not necessarily losing all of their members in some of these head-on-head brawls.
Well, they got Hunter's Fury, so, you know, it's been a difference maker before. GMD with the jump spot, trading Raccoon looking rather silent right now, but they're going to get revealed in just a moment. There's the knife, hits 2. So at least 2 revealed there. So they can anchor down on the side, not a problem. Now you can see Derek kind of spamming through that mid door with that Odin. They know exactly what that feels like.
Still as quiet as ever as Evictix want to get themselves nice and set up here. What I'm looking at right now is Scotty. Scotty's going to have to run through the Odin from Derek. Oh, never mind. Derek actually backs off, so suddenly an opportunity is Bonnie's still waiting for that flash, but does back off.
And he's very coming in. That's the clone. Oh, GMD avoiding the flash, though. He's going to re-swing, but Barrett takes the kill. Now Payne in a little bit of a problem. Throws out the nade. Just make sure the Astra ends up backing off as Barrett's elbows end up getting shot up. All right, Payne, null command popped. And now they can just bust onto the side without the fear of util being flung their way. Derek from the high ground with that Odin. And Raccoon, Scotty. Unfortunately, it's a 1v4, and the Odin is looking right at you, my friend. And there is the kill. M80 sink another one home. As Evictix not really finding any answers to this, Marks.
No, they honestly aren't. I mean, once again, like when you can like feel the moment in the round where M80 decide, yes, now is when we want to attack there. And it does kind of feel like it's Paint making those kind of calls when he's like, all right, this is when I want to go. Let's try and push in. Let's get aggressive. Let's take them out. And that time around, it was off of that null command. We see Paint just be so aggressive, being able to deny the spike, get the ultimate online, pops the null command, and you could see the fear in Evictix's faces. Like immediately they're like, wait, what do you mean the spike went down? Uh-oh, now we've got 3 people running at us from different angles. It's just so much pressure as soon as M80 make that decision to push into them. So 5 rounds in a row now for M80 on this defense. As Evictix, they are taking their time out here. Raccoon used the Hunter's Fury last round, not able to get anything that time around. And so it's looking a little bit interesting. They've still got that Cosmic Divide to play off of. But honestly, I think M80 have just been doing a fantastic job at getting those initial engagements to kind of fall into their pattern and then being extremely disruptive as soon as Evictix think that they've got that site for free.
Good dimensional drill top in one as well. Maybe they want to try and force their way onto that A orb. I mean, with just pistols here, just looking at picking up and damaging M80's economy just a little bit, but they've just got so much money for the next few rounds. I mean, this is a really pivotal one. Bonnie posted up. Oh, that was close. All right. Well, they're going to have to deal with this now, and I think Bonnie is going to be more than happy just to set up on the on B-Long. But they're running into either an Odin or a scope, so, you know, pick your poison. Neither of them is very good, and yeah. All right, that's a bit of revenge, I think. Raccoon did dirty work with that Odin on their defense.
Yeah, and I think on top of that, too, like Bonnie just kind of hopping forwards. That timing was 100% just because of that recon dart. And now, at least M80 should be very cognizant of the fact that Evictix are going to try and make their move onto this A site. At least moving up to that orb, but GMD taking that initial pressure and immediately able to back out.
Oh, yeah, a lot of util there to make sure GMD could survive. They do end up grabbing that orb. Not giving it over too traded, though. They give it to Barrett, so I'd say how it could come online if they manage to snag a kill. But Scotty, fortunately, that Odin is going to be your demise. And yeah, a push through the smoke, only with the pistols. And another round win for M80. 11-7 now with their defense round flawless so far.
Yeah, you know, Evictix, this is just like, let's just try and get our ultimates online this round. You know, that way we've got tools to work off of. But I am just blown away by how much value M80 are getting off of that one position. We see Paint playing it there. Last time around, I think we got to see Derek kind of just spraying it down when Evictix walked in, but once again, Evictix, it just feels like they're not necessarily looking at art, especially just kind of in that clinch, and they're expecting your players to be able to find something there. So they once again are falling into familiar patterns without really changing anything up, especially on some of those pistol rounds. And those are just going to be nice, easy round wins for M80. While M80, they get aggressive between Paint and GMD, at least securing the ultimate orb too, being able to deny that one, but Alvin going to be under a lot of pressure as the mid to B push appears to be happening, but getting the rotations out, I wouldn't be surprised if the Evictix try and take space in spawn. Scotty takes GMD off the table.
Okay, that might just open up this A site now, although by the looks of things, Paint is pushing out already. Raccoon with one, Odin back in hand. So you're feeling at peace now. Now quick rotation on to B, using that lane. Dimensional Drift comes through. Shot darts, everything to try and push Derek off the line. Hunter's Fury still in his back pocket marks.
A lot of information being gained here.
On. Is it going to connect? It does. Connects the ground, not going down just yet, but Derek makes sure that reveal doesn't go wasted. And a swing out from Paint's going to be good. Another one backside though is traded, takes his head off. But Derek again. Hunter's Fury ringing true for the Sova as M80 in a 2v1. Derek is just spinning in the skies, trying to catch a clip there, but Bonnie with the wide swing kills Dre, and that's a defuse and match point for M80.
Yeah, I mean, once again, you take a look at the timings that M80 are kind of doing, and it constantly feels like Evictix are caught off guard. That time around, like the flood through from M80, just a little bit too early, despite the fact that they kind of secure the kill onto Baron after that spike goes down. Evictix, they still try and run away with their life. Scotty not even looking the right way, trying to hop away, getting caught in the crossfire of everything going on there. And it's these like small, minuscule gaps that open up that M80 when they decide to once again choose their timing for the engagement. They're able to just walk away scot-free. And of course, we get to see Derek put on a masterclass with the Hunter's Fury as well. Not necessarily just a lineup, but just so aware of where some of these players are. And honestly, that one just comes down to experience.
Oh, Scotty. No, that is tragic. Scotty didn't know. M80. Three-player pushing A main. Ain't happy to take a little bit of chunk with that frag nade, but might want to pop flash through smoke. Maybe not. Ends up backing up, playing a little bit safe now. GMD posted up on A main, so they know there's no wrap around there, but looks like
time to jump.
A little noise made by Raccoon ends up backing up as well. Judge in hand, by the way.
I like this adaptation from M80 as well. Given how much space they kind of yielded, this time around they're making sure that they're staying so aware of that middle presence. And now finally Dimensional Drift online.
All right, there's the TP onto site for traded. Paint trying to make it difficult for them to enter as Paint just swings and kills two. Dre, though, with a cleanup, so 2 kills each there, 3 on 2 now, but unfortunately, GMD entirely alone in A main without Evictix realizing he's there, and a spray through cover with the Odin. What a picture-perfect way to end that map, as Derek will send us to a map number 2 with M80 cleaning up Pearl.